This is Lee Langdon, and welcome to my audio documentary entitled A Songwriting Process, She Makes My Heart Come Alive. You can find me on Instagram at Lee Langdon and on Facebook at Lee Langdon Music, and of course you can find me on my website at leelangdon.com. I'm a singer-songwriter who recently raised money to make my first album, an EP of 5 original songs, all together telling a story of love. Actually, my personal love story. The CD is called A Love Story and is available on Bandcamp, iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Pandora, YouTube, Amazon, and others. If you haven't heard it yet, by all means, go listen to it. And even better, hey, go buy it. I would be so grateful. Every season of our life. Back in July of 2018, I started a funding account to raise money for this project, and I promised my supporters that if they donated a certain amount, I would send them an audio recording telling them about the songwriting process. And so that's what this is. This is an audio documentary that records the songwriting process I went through as I wrote one of the songs on my EP entitled She Makes My Heart Come Alive. I will take you into my car on the way home from work on the day I first came up with the initial melody. You'll enter into my home where I play the first renditions on my keyboard. I'll even take you into the recording studio where you can hear some of the scratch track that played through the headphones while the band jammed out on the final takes of the recording. If the creative process of songwriting interests you at all, or if you like looking behind the curtain to understand how things work and come together, you'll probably like the journey we were about to go on. Songwriting can feel magical at times when a song kind of pops out onto paper and the melody effortlessly flows out of you. But most of the time, good songwriting takes a lot of energy and writing and rewriting and then rewriting some more, changing words and notes and chords and melody lines, trying to make sure everything is just the way it needs to be. I'm sure you've wondered at some point, like I have, how does a painter decide when his or her painting is done? I've wondered that many times, and I still don't know about painting. But when it comes to songwriting, I know there is a point, after working on a song, molding it and shaping it into something special, there is a point where you say, it is finished. It takes a while to get there sometimes, and this song was certainly no exception. I'm going to take you through the process of writing my song, She Makes My Heart Come Alive. I will try not to hang out on one clip for very long because I want you to stay with me on this journey. I know if I ramble too much, you may check out, and I know I would. So I'll move from one clip to the next and keep us moving. Hopefully it will be fun for you. I know it's going to be fun for me. Okay, without any further ado, let's get started. Hey, let's start at the very beginning. I always find that to be a wonderful place to start. This first clip is the original idea I had riding around in the car. It's similar to what I ended up with in the final version, but it's not exactly the same. I was on the way home from work one day and decided I wanted to write a song about my wife, and this phrase popped into my head. I quickly sang it into a melody, then hit record on my iPhone and sang it again. This all happened about halfway home from work, specifically driving on Robinson Street in Norman, if you happen to live around here, between Flood and 24th. I remember it so clearly. It was a good idea, and I instantly knew I was on to something. She makes my heart come alive in every season of our lives. The way that she cares, the way that she feels, the way that, she makes my heart come alive. You can see that it was beginning to refine in my mind right there in the car. The chorus actually came pretty quickly. So here's the next clip. She makes my heart come alive in every season of our lives. The way that she cares, the way that she feels, when she looks into my eyes, she makes my heart come alive. Okay, this next clip, I'm not sure about the actual car ride, but this was a verse that began to form. I didn't know it at the time that it would become the second verse eventually. I just had an idea and I ran with it for a few seconds. This is actually what happens a lot. I've learned to trust my melody instincts and just go where I feel I need to go melodically, and often words just fall into place. This is kind of a good example of one of those times. When the autumn rains begin to fall, and when the turning yellow leaves sing their sad and lonely song, and when the turning yellow leaves sing their sad and lonely song. I'll just tell you, it's kind of funny for me to play these clips for you because they really aren't meant for anybody but me, but that's what this is about, so I wanted to share these with you. This next clip is interesting because you can hear in this one that I had another idea for the next part of the verse that was forming. It's also neat to hear because what I actually sing, it didn't make the song in the end, or at least bits of it, but it got me further down the road. I find sometimes an idea helps me realize what direction I don't want to go when I'm writing a song. It gets me back on track where I do want to go. Here's the clip. Sad and lonely song, she knows how to lift me up and bring me along to a brighter day. So to be clear, all of these melodies were going through my head all day long. Like every time I got in the car, I would be singing this song and trying to think of the next thing. So when I finally got home, I was able to put these melodies to the piano, to some piano chords, and this is what happened. She says words I need to hear, fighting for our love through her tears. Putting chords behind a song really is not as difficult as you think it might be. Chords just basically support a melody. And if you don't know how to play or know much about how music works, I can see why this would be challenging. But, just like a doctor or a teacher or somebody who knows kind of how things work in their profession, things just fall in line naturally. And that's really the case with this. I mean, with the melody, the chords just kind of fall in line. And after playing for a while and kind of knowing what you're doing musically, those things just instinctively come. This happens a lot. Amy has seen me jump out of bed because I'm dreaming of a song and the melody was still in my mind. I run over to the keyboard and chords just kind of pour out from there. It happens, I credit God for songs that come in dreams. I can't explain those at all. I mean, why would you write a song in your dreams? It's crazy, but sometimes it happens, and a lot of songwriters will attest to that. But as far as putting chords to a melody, it kind of just naturally happens. Okay, in this next clip, in the songwriting process, it looks like the verse began to form here. It's still taking shape, but you can hear the progression is basically there for the verse and the chorus. And this is an exciting time in the songwriting process when you really think you have something taking shape. I was certainly all in the song at this point. I mean, I was wanting to finish this song. I knew this is something I wanted to do. And this clip is a little longer. It's like 3.5 minutes. I actually play through what I have 2 times. It's a little different each time, and both times are picking up new little things to add or even actually to take away from the song. But I intentionally kept both of these in here so you could hear how I played them actually differently both times. When the autumn rains begin to fall,
the turning yellow leaves sing their sad and lonely song. She says the words I need to hear. We're fighting for our love through her tears. What would I do if she didn't see me through? 'Cause she makes my heart come alive. She makes my heart come alive. In every season, in every season. Oh shoot. She makes my heart come alive. In every season of our lives. The way that she cares, the way that she feels. When she looks into my eyes. Oh, she makes my heart come alive. She makes my heart come alive. When the autumn rains begin, the autumn rains begin to fall, and the turning yellow leaves sing their sad and lonely song. She says words I need to hear. We're fighting for our love through her tears. What would I do if she didn't see me through? 'Cause she makes my heart come alive. She makes my heart come alive. In every season of our lives. The way that she cares, the way that she feels. She looks in my eyes. She makes my heart come alive. She makes my heart come alive.
You could hear a line in this song where I sing, what would I do if she didn't see me through? I really liked that part and had a hard time parting with it later, but I ended up sticking with the words, what would I do without her love to see me through? I like that line better because it focused on her love and had the word love, and for me that was important in this song. It was an important word in this song. And you can also hear me getting a little more confident playing with the chords on the piano as I work through it. On this clip, I sang through twice, just like I said, just to embed it more in my head. I often wonder if something might unexpectedly surprise me the second time through, so I like to stick it out. And I did have some of that, actually, some surprises that came out on that one. This next clip was actually me exploring an idea for a bridge. It wasn't different enough in the end. It didn't sound like a bridge to me, but I played it so I wouldn't forget it. You never know if that might be something I could use somewhere else in the song, or for another song in the future even, completely that I have never even thought of yet. So here's the clip. This next clip was another bridge idea that I had that didn't end up making the song. It probably came to me in the shower. I have a lot of ideas in the shower. You know, you sing in the shower. Well, I always do anyway. Probably it works a lot for me because it's in the morning and my head is clear. The mornings are typically my most productive time of the day. I love to write in the morning. Sometimes I'm able to marinate in a song all day and sing ideas into my phone as they come because I started that in the day, in the morning, and I'm actually able to think about it all day long. I record a lot of notes in my iPhone.
Dun, 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 dun.
This next clip, I was in the car on the way to work, and the bridge just kicked into gear. I had the words first. The "Through All the Passing Years" was a catchy lyric, and I knew I could do more lyrics about what we had been through. So I messed around with it while I drove. I can't play the times when I'm just fumbling around singing in the car, trying different things, because I don't think I have those. Usually it's only when I have something I like that I whip my phone out and hit record. But, you know, a bridge really is supposed to kind of change gears. It can't really be exactly like the rest of the song. So, you know, your verses are trying to get you to the chorus, which really is your main point. And the bridge usually is kind of something that makes you think from a different angle, in a sense. And so that's really what popped in my head. And this "Through All the Passing Years" really was something I thought I could chase down.
Through all the passing years, through all the changing fears, she has always stood by my side. Something.
Okay, we're getting somewhere with the bridge. You can really hear it taking shape, but only to a point. We're still trying to figure out how this bridge needs to end, and so we keep going.
Through all the passing years, through all the changing fears, she has always stood by my side. In the lows and the highs, hellos and goodbyes. Do, da, da.
These quiet ones are after people are sleeping, especially my wife. I'm laying in bed trying to turn my brain off with this song going through my head, and then a line hits me. So I grab my iPhone off my nightstand and I head for the living room and softly sing what I've been thinking. In this clip, you hear a couple of things that end up not working, but then you hear a bit of new come alive echoes that end up adding a bunch of cool texture after the chorus later. One of my favorite parts of the final production in the song, and we'll get to that later.
Through all the lows and the highs, through all those painful goodbyes, her strong love has always made my heart come alive, come alive. She makes my heart.
I finally get a chance the next day to get on the piano and really work out the bridge. You can hear my excitement in it. I was pretty confident this was beginning to be a real song, at least to me anyway. It's pretty cool how this section really starts to take shape. Let me play the clip for you.
Through all the passing years, through all this changing fear. No. Through all the passing years, through all the changing fears, she has always stood by my side. Through all the lows and the highs, through all of those goodbyes, her love makes, her love makes my heart come alive. Let's try it again. Through all the passing years, through all the changing fears, she has always stood by my side. through all the lows and the highs, through all of those goodbyes, all those goodbyes. Her love makes my heart come alive, come alive, oh, come alive, come alive. What would I do without her love to see me through this life? 'Cause she makes my heart come alive.
I guess in that clip, I was also beginning to explore how to end the song. I tried echoing the end of the verse to see how that would pan out. I remember thinking, it needs something else, but I was excited about exploring some sort of ending. Okay, this next clip was after I had worked on it a bit and felt like I had something really coming together. I got down what I had already decided on, and apparently I had explored and picked up an intro too, which is kind of neat to listen back to the kind of where that intro kind of started taking shape. I also wrote a second verse. I remember thinking of wanting another verse that was just about our love, because the verse I had written already was kind of dealing with her helping me through the autumn, the fall, a time of year that is tempting for me, honestly, to deal with a bit of depression, after the summer ends and everyone's back in their school routines. I remembered one year having a really tough bout with depression, and Amy was so kind and loving to me and so patient, helping me through it all. Anyway, all that to say, a second verse with a little more positivity was probably needed. This clip is actually a pretty solid run through the song. It's interesting how I do end up switching the verses to start with the more positive verse, ultimately in the end. So in this song, you'll hear the verses backwards, which is kind of neat. The bridge, though, was really taking shape, too. I have somewhat a smooth intro into the come alive bits, and I'm still ending it with a repeat of the second verse. There was a little "this life" tagged on at the end of this section. I ended up scratching it later, but I thought it was kind of a nice part. It reminded me of something Vince Gill might do, and I like Vince Gill. So anyway, here's the clip.
When the autumn rains begin and the turning yellow leaves sing their sad and lonely song, she says the words I need to hear, fighting for our love through every tear. Well, what would I do if she didn't see me through? She makes my heart come alive. She makes my heart come alive in every season of our lives. The way that she cares, the way that she feels, when she looks into my eyes, she makes my heart come alive. On those late summer nights in June, with me on the back porch, staring at the moon, she moves in as close as she can, to feel her gentle fingers as they weave into my hand. Her touch on my skin ignites a fire within me. And she makes my heart come alive. She makes my heart come alive in every season of our lives. The way that she cares, the way that she feels, when she looks into my eyes, she makes my heart come alive. All the passing years, through all the passing years, through all the changing fears, she has always stood by my side. Through all the lows and highs, through all of those goodbyes, her love makes my heart come alive. Come alive. Yeah, come alive. What would I do without her love to see me through this life? 'Cause she makes my heart come alive. Oh, she makes my heart come alive.
On this next clip, I'm driving in the car, and I had some ideas about chords that I wanted to be sure I remembered when I got home. So I start throwing out chord names. This probably means nothing to some of you, but I thought I would at least just kind of throw this one out there because this happens a lot too.
When you do the bridge later, instead of what we've got recorded here, do through all the passing years, through all the dandy tears, do 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 do. So I think it's through all the passing years would be through all the passing B flat to C6 to an F, do do do. She makes my heart come alive.
Eureka! I found the ending line I wanted. This was it, and I knew it right away. I mean, sometimes you just know what is perfect for a song, and this was one of those times. I sang it in a car and did a quick recording of it on my iPhone. So, since I've got my keyboard right here, why don't I just play that ending for you? What I was able to take from just a thought in the car and take it home to the keyboard. She makes my heart come alive. This next recording is just me fumbling around on the piano, trying to figure out how to get into the bridge. And I figured it out, and actually it ended up sticking, and you'll hear this chord progression in the final version.
The way that she cares, the way that she feels, when she looks into my eyes, she makes my heart come alive. Now she makes my heart come alive.
Okay, so this next clip is a run-through of the song again, and I don't want to wear you out with run-throughs, but I wanted to show you the progression of a song. That's the point of this documentary, and so just a couple of things that might pop out this time, or at least to me. The intro, I play the intro 4 times. I mean, it looks like it's pretty solid there, but I play it 4 times. Ultimately, though, in the studio, I end up playing it 3 times, and I've got my keyboard here. I'm talking about that little bit there. I play that 3 times in the studio, but 4 times on this recording. And I used to play it 4 times all the time. and also the first verse sticks, and I keep it, and the piano's developing, and the chorus is pretty good. But the second part, this is the first time you kind of hear me starting to really paint the picture of the fall, like in that second verse where I go. I kind of run the piano down, kind of feeling like it's fall, or rain falling down, and the leaves falling down, and just that kind of that feel of the song. The chorus is pretty solid. I like the chorus. The transition to the bridge is there. You'll hear it, that we've already developed, I think, on the last clip. The bridge is kind of finalized. The Come Alive sections, they've also developed pretty well too. The final O still needs some work. You can see it doesn't sound like it does in the end, but those kind of are starting to develop. And what you'll hear on the end was the original ending I was working with, but I still felt like it wasn't done. So I still knew that I needed some work to do. Anyway, enough of my rambling. Here's another run through.
On those late summer nights in June, with me on the back porch, staring at the moon, she moves in as close as she can. I feel her gentle fingers as they weave into my hand. The touch of her skin lights a fire within me, 'cause she makes my heart come alive. She makes my heart come alive. In every season of our lives, the way that she cares, the way that she feels, when she looks into my eyes, she makes my heart come alive. When the autumn rains begin to fall, and the turning yellow leaves sing their sad and lonely song, she says words I need to hear, fighting for our love through every tear. What would I do without her love to see me through? 'Cause she makes my heart come alive. She makes my heart come alive. In every season of our lives, the way that she cares, the way that she feels, when she looks into my eyes, she makes my heart come alive. Through all the passing years, through all the changing fears, she has always stood by my side. Through all the lows and highs, through all the tough goodbyes, her love makes my heart come alive. Come alive. Come alive. What would I do without her love to see me through this life? 'Cause she makes my heart come alive. She makes my heart come alive.
if a song is going to get legs at all, and if it's going to go anywhere, then you need to really get it out so people will hear it. And there's a point where you have to record it into a work tape or a demo and send it to somebody that you would like to record it, or send it to your producer so you might consider it for your album. And so at this point, I recorded She Makes My Heart Come Alive as a demo, and I sent it out to my friend Matt, who's a local Oklahoma City musician, just to kind of give him an idea of my music and what it sounded like. And then I also sent it to Charlie, my producer, when I thought the time was right, to see if he would want to put this one on my album. This was recorded about a week later after that last clip, and so there was nothing else that I have recorded in the gap between those. I think the song was just kind of embedding in my brain, so I didn't really need to record much of anything. Apparently I worked out the bits after the bridge to get us to the end of the song, which is good because it sounds pretty tidy in this demo. It's funny too because I even try to hit a high A in the third Come Alive, which is funny. Hitting that full voice for me is quite a challenge. I mean, and an A is pretty high for me. So in the studio we elected to go with a falsetto, a soft falsetto at the end, and you'll hear that in the final version. But in this one, I really try to stretch and reach it, and you can decide if I hit that note or not. There's also a section that ends up being in the final version of the song that's not even in the demo, which I think is interesting. It's if you know the song, the final version, it's amazing when a dream comes true, when the woman that you love, she gives her heart to you. That's not even in the demo that I sent to my producer. So I ended up writing that between that time and by the time I got to the studio, which is kind of neat to think back. But anyway, enjoy this next version.
This song is called She Makes My Heart Come Alive. On those late summer nights in June, with me on the back porch, staring at the moon, she moves in as close as she can. I feel her gentle fingers as they weave into my hand. The touch of her skin, it lights a fire within me, 'cause she makes my heart come alive. She makes my heart come alive. In every season of our lives, the way that she cares, the way that she feels, when she looks into my eyes, she makes my heart come alive. And when the autumn rains begin to fall, and the turning yellow leaves sing their sad and lonely song, she says the words I need to hear, fighting for our love through every tear. What would I do without her love to see me through? 'Cause she makes my heart come alive. And she makes my heart come alive. In every season of our lives, the way that she cares, the way that she feels, when she looks into my eyes, she makes my heart come alive. Through all the passing years, through all the changing fears, she has always stood by my side. Through all the lows and highs, through all the tough goodbyes, her love makes my heart come alive. makes my heart come alive. In every season of our lives, the way that she cares, the way that she feels, when she looks into my eyes, she makes my heart come alive. She makes my heart come alive.
This final clip is actually months later, so skip forward a number of months. I was rehearsing the song and refining it at my house, just kind of getting ready for the studio, just making sure everything was right, so I didn't waste any time in the studio doing any writing in there. And so when I got to the studio, I really could play this song pretty well and had the lyrics memorized and all of that, so I was ready to go. And with that kind of prep, you can cruise through the piano parts in the studio, which is nice. This recording is the scratch track that they ended up having. So that first day, I recorded this scratch track with Charlie, just me and the keyboard, and then we had a click track on it. So we played this through the headphones when the band was in the studio, and they could listen to me playing the song while they jammed out and recorded. And it ended up taking about 8 takes to get the final recording. But this is the actual scratch track that was playing through their headphones when they were learning to record it. So I'll play this for you, and then I've got some final comments.
On those late summer nights in June, with me on the back porch, staring at the moon, she moves in as close as she can. I feel her gentle fingers as they weave into my hand, the touch of her skin lights a fire within me, 'cause she makes my heart come alive. She makes my heart come alive. In every season of our lives, the way that she cares, the way that she feels, when she looks into my eyes, she makes my heart come alive. And when the autumn rains begin to fall, and the turning yellow leaves sing their sad and lonely song, she says the words I need to hear, fighting for our love through every tear. What would I do without her love to see me through? 'Cause she makes my heart come alive. She makes my heart come alive. In every season of our life.
Well, if you've listened this far, I am totally impressed. I guess I'm glad it was interesting enough for you. I had fun, and I appreciate you listening. But seriously, if you have never written a song and wondered about the process, well, there you go. There's a look behind the curtain. At least you have heard from one songwriter about his process that happened for one of his songs. It's never the same writing process for songs, that's for sure. If you are a songwriter, you know the challenges that come along the way with finding the right lyrics or melody or chord structures or whatever. But the creativity part is so fun and exciting, and it can certainly be exhausting at times too, but the reward is certainly wonderful.
Come alive.
that's the story behind She Makes My Heart Come Alive. If you like this song, you can purchase She Makes My Heart Come Alive and my entire EP, A Love Story, on iTunes, Bandcamp, Amazon, and other places where you purchase and stream music. Please come find me on Instagram at Lee Langdon and on Facebook at Lee Langdon Music. My website is www.leelangdon.com. I would love for you to come join my team and follow my journey as a songwriter and musician. Okay, that's all I have on this one. May this song be a blessing to you as you consider the love you share with your loved one. Thanks for listening.
She makes my heart come alive.
All rights reserved by Lee Langdon Music, LLC.